Hello, y'all. Good morning. I think it's about 7 something right now, and I've been up since 4 this morning. And I want to laugh at myself because I'm a mess. Like, I'm a mess. I woke up, last night, I set the intention, before I went to sleep, I set the intention to wake up and just spend some time in spirit, because I haven't been able to these last couple of weeks, but more so within the last few days, the last about 4 or 5 days, things have just been so off. Mercury retrograde really had me, it felt like I was in a fog. Fog is not the right word, but it just felt like dense, heavy energy suppressing me. I'm having trouble thinking, like literally telling my daughter and my son, like, I can't, it's not working, no processing right now. And just feeling like everything inside of me was lead, just heavy. And I knew what was going on. I know I am learning a lifelong process, how much I am affected by my environment, by the weather, by nature itself. I'm very affected. I have what they call seasonal affective disorder. Anyway, I'm very affected by the weather. So cloudy, gloomy, rainy days, no sunshine, I'm heavy, I'm depressed, I'm withdrawn. Sunny, bright days, I am the sun. Hello, see me. So it's been, and the weather has just been upside down, raining 1 minute, sunny the next minute, and that's really kind of how I felt. So anyway, but 2 days ago, about 2 days, I guess this would be, the third day, all of that lifted, and Mercury is moving direct now. So I don't really know astrology except for being self-taught, but I do pay attention because of how it affects me. So anyway, Mercury's moving direct, which means it's coming out of retrograde, which means all of that heaviness, miscommunication, halt to projects and things is starting to lift. And I feel that. I feel it. I feel like I'm back online, I guess you could say. And so last night I set the intention that I wanted to get up and just, I won't say get back into my regular routine, because my regular routine is a thing of the past. And I spoke on that in previous episodes. Like, I'm at a new space. I'm at a new level. I understand this. So change. So I set my intention last night, and I woke up at 4 o'clock, or like 4:03, something like that, just wide awake, energized, ready to sit and commune. I lit my candles. I really want to show you my altar, but I can't flip this camera, so I'm not gonna. But I set my candles, lit my incense, and just sat. Just sat in the stillness, in the, what's the word I want? in the presence of the divine, in the presence of my spiritual family, in the ambiance of spirit. It really is a beautiful atmosphere that I am so grateful to be able to enter into. And as I was sitting, so I've learned about the Orisha, and this is going to be a different video, but I've learned about, as I've expanded and opened myself up to receiving more knowledge about the world, other cultures. And it wasn't really an intention about other cultures. I just wanted to learn more about this life experience, because I got to the place where I felt like I felt like I was drawn out of, maybe that's not the right way to say it. I was drawn to mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I was drawn outside of the boundaries, the border around me, that was placed around me through religion. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Yeah. Totally different episodes. First of all, welcome. Yes, a mess to Authenticity the Hard Way. I am Asha Zalika, and this is my mess. Oh wow, let me just backtrack. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Your response to this, and I hear platform, but this is not a platform. This is my life. So thank you for joining me with Authenticity the Hard Way, and thereby joining my life's journey, this experience, this human experience. Thank you does not feel like enough, but that's all this human being can express right now is thank you. I am overwhelmed at times by the presence that I am feeling as I settle into this more. So I have YouTube on the TV behind y'all, and because it has my meditation or my ambiance music on, but it's one of the episodes where the commercials come on. One of the videos where the commercials come on. So if you see me do this, I'm getting rid of the commercial, trying to keep my flow here. But anyway, as I am settling more into this space, this what is the word that I need right now? Presence. This level. We'll leave it at level. As I settle more into this newness of my life at this stage, this present stage of my life, as I get to know me in this capacity, which is not new, but it's new now. As I evolve, as I evolve and ascend, as I expand, thank you for being a part of this with me. I may never see you. I may never know your name. But please understand that I feel your presence. I feel the connection. I feel as a little girl and growing up until, anyway, I have been, I don't want to say isolated, but like, yeah, it's an isolation on different levels and different areas in my life. There it is again. I see the lotus flower, like just opening up. This is where I am right now. The majority of my life has been like this, except for certain time periods, and those will be future videos. But now at this stage, I'm opening up, and I feel it. I feel expansive. I feel like I'm taking up space. And your presence is absolutely felt. So please, you're not just listening to a podcast. You're not just watching a video. Your awareness and your attention to me through these two avenues is absolutely felt. Absolutely felt. So that's why I feel you. And being an empath, I when I say I feel you, I really feel you. And that is the basis of my gratitude. That is the beat of my heart. I feel your presence. So thank you. Where was I? Anyway. I set my intention last night to get up this morning and just connect. I was going to say reconnect, but there's no reconnection. To connect with spirit and with my I call it my unseen team and my celestial family, to connect at this level, within this new space that I'm in. And, that's where I was going. I opened up, right, myself to receive to receive beyond Christianity. And as I've said before, please don't. This Authenticity the Hard Way is not about religion, and you will experience what I'm talking about as I go on. And when I say outside, receive outside of Christianity, is because what I mean by that is my first spiritual family with my archangels, with God as the God of Christianity. all the principles, all the spirit, the Holy Spirit of Christianity. And that was my foundation. Actually, bunny hop back here a little bit. That was not my first experience with religion, I guess you could say. Or, well, my first experience was with Buddha. Anyway, there's another video. Anyway, a few years ago, no, let's just stay right here. Yeah, outside of Christianity. And when that happened, it was like a floodgate. No, let me go back. A few years ago, God told me to stop identifying as a Christian because of the different things that how Christianity was moving, and the different things that were coming out. And also because now I see, also because of authenticity the hard way, is because this is not about religion. Because we are all one, regardless to what religion we ascribe to. We are all one. In the divine, in God, in whatever your terminology for, Father, or Creator, whatever your terminology is, we are all one. And I could not, when I received the vision for my business, which is Revelations Holistic Empowerment Training, I immediately thought it would be Christian based. And as I was trying to come up with the design for my business, I had the fish, Christian fish. And as I was drawing it out, this heaviness hit my heart, and it's, no, that's not, you can't do that. Because to do that would push out other people. Because what has been placed within me and what I have been called to do is for everyone. Everyone. It has nothing to do with race, ethnicity, color, background, social status. It has nothing to do with that. What I have been called to do has everything to do with heart, everything to do with spirit, everything to do with love, compassion, and gratitude, and help. So, all religion is out the door. Although religion, the principles and the scriptures and will come into play as needed, but it's across the board for everyone. There is no discrimination here. So anyway, outside when I stepped out of the boundary of Christianity, a flood of spirit on a different level entered into my life. And the first so what happened was I was opened up to learning about different cultures. One morning one day I walked in from work, and there I don't know how it ended up on, I know how, it's is divine, but Oye was on our TV in music, and it grabbed me. The music grabbed me because I had never heard that type of the Yoruba music before. I'd never heard it, and it, I was like, whoa, what is, Anyway, that set me on a journey to learning about Yoruba traditions and the Orisha. And so it was a space and time last year where I was inundated with just knowledge about the Orisha. So I said that to say that when I got up this morning, yesterday, me and my daughter were led to a botanica store. And we walked in, and it was so, the spirit in that little storefront was so powerful. I walked in and I was, whoa. It was, I get goosebumps right now. It was so powerful in there. But yet it felt like home. It felt like everything that I looked at, every move that I made within this, it was small. It was only 2 aisles. But everything was just me. I don't know how else to explain it. So I got candles and some jewelry that I have been wanting to have forever. Anyway. But, so I set my intention to get up this morning, and one of my candles that I had was of Orunmila, and he is the deity over wisdom and knowledge and divination, and I was drawn to light that candle this morning. And I have his figurine. I'm going to figure out how to get a picture of my altar so that you could see. And so as I was lighting my candle, saying the prayer on the back of it, I placed it, and I was going to come back over here and sit in my space and just feel, just be in that beautiful environment, which I still feel now. And side note, the reason why a lot of my videos are and will be in podcast, well, you can't see on the podcast, the majority will be in this, well, you can't even see it, in this type of with me like this, is because of the presence of spirit around me. This is very conducive to my receiving what I need to speak about. So yeah, times I will get dressed up, and it'll be totally different, and you'll be able to feel or sense the difference in it. But anyway, I was getting ready to sit on my bed and just bask in the presence of everyone. But I felt drawn to sit at my altar. I have a seat, a little pad that I sit on, and just sit and receive. And okay, so to backtrack a little bit. See, this is raw. This is although I am recording this. This, if I did a live, it would be like really, really live, because I don't have a direction. I'm just here. I'm just trying to. I'm the conduit. I'm the conduit. That's where I'm going with this part right here. In 2006, well, I've been channeling all my life from a little girl. I was that little girl who didn't talk a lot, but when I said something, it was like profound. And they're like, old folks would say, yeah, she's been here before. Another old folks would say she's been here many times before. And when I was young, I didn't understand that. Now I understand. But in 2006, family fell apart. Around that time, my husband had left, and all I had to keep me together was my spirituality and my relationship with God. And I would get up, and I was so depressed and devastated and literally broken, because when my husband walked out, he took me with him. I had no identity for myself. He was my everything, and he broke me. So my natural inclination was to dive deeper into my relationship with God as my Father, and Jesus as. See, this is where it gets kind of tricky, and I really want to watch my words, because I don't want to offend, and I want it, see, this is why I don't like God, my Father, and Jesus as the totality of a mate, as my brother, right? My groom, according to Scripture, my groom, my everything, my Savior, everything. And then Spirit was the breath. And I say was, but still is. But at that time period, it was all I had. The Trinity was all I had. And my archangels, and my Michael, my archangels. So that, the essence of the Trinity and my angels, was all I had. All I had. All I had. And I dove everything into studying beyond the Bible. This is before internet, so I was at the library all the time. Not before internet, but before it really got around. I got into it. A lot of spent time at the library, getting all kinds of books, reading, trying to learn as much as I could. I stayed on TBN with Rob Parsley and Kenneth Hagin. And I was just Joyce Myers. That was all I had. And I remember I would always get up and I would just sit and I would pray and speak in tongues and just travail And one day, one morning, God spoke to me and he said, I want you to begin writing our communion times. So when you hear me say my communion, that's where it came from years ago. And God spoke plainly and boldly, you write our communion times so that one day, whoever reads it, whoever hears it, would receive and be healed, would receive and be strengthened, would receive healing, strength, courage, wisdom, and knowledge. And it was based off of write the vision and make it plain so that he that may read it, may run, something like that. We'll read and run. And that's what I did. I began writing. Channeling is what it is. I didn't know that. I didn't know my whole life. I didn't know that I was channeling. I just spoke what I heard. And then what God told me to do that, and I began writing. Then I was so, the first few times I just sat in amazement, because what happens is then spirit, I would begin speaking in tongues and interpreting in my mind the tongues. How do I say this? Flipping the tongues in my mind. I didn't do it. Flipping the tongues in my mind into interpretation that I could write. Very powerful, overwhelming experience until I got used to it. But that is very much channeling, and that's what I've been doing since 2006. So, so back where I was. So I had to say that to say, as I sat down, this morning, Arunla spoke to me and asked what it was that I want. And I had no intention of, I didn't have an intention for my communion time this morning. I just wanted to sit and be in the presence of presence. But as I sat and settled more into the spirit, in my space, in spirit, and in the core of me came, I just heard myself say, I want more connection. And sometimes, y'all, it's so hard to put into words spiritual experiences. It is so hard sometimes to do that. So if I get tongue-tied. I get tongue-tied, and then I just get lost in trying to take what's here. See, it's very easy to take what's in here and speak it, but when it comes from the heart space, when it comes from the here, there is a very intricate exchange, I guess it would be. And it's something that I have had to cultivate and had to train myself in, is to be able to speak from here accurately without allowing my analytical mind to flip it, if that makes sense. Man, it's a powerful thing to be, to give, to be the voice of spirit. It is a very, very intricate thing. Because sometimes when I'm speaking to y'all, I hear tongues in my head, if that makes sense. And by tongues, I mean speaking in tongues, speaking in a different language. Because connected to all, with all. And sometimes when I'm deep in spirit, when I am deep in communion or communication with the spirit realm, different languages come through. I'm speaking yet also writing in English. Anyway, that was a tangent, but yeah, so I heard spirit, I heard my soul, right? I heard my soul, and I know the difference between my soul speaking and spirit speaking. I know the difference between my analytical human consciousness speaking as opposed to divine universal consciousness. I know all of this stuff is taking place inside this little 5-2 frame. Amazing and overwhelming at the same time. But I heard my soul say, I want deeper connection with spirit. And when I heard the words coming out of my mouth, when I heard them in my ears, it sounded strange to me. And that's when I knew, okay, I'm getting ready to receive something. And indeed, so that's what all this is all about, because I have a word. I have a message that has to be shared. And this is my first time doing this for the YouTube and the podcast. So it's kind of, how do I explain this? I don't know how. Okay, so let's go back again. Okay, so experience, right? Hold that. I have a word that I received from Arunla, but in order for you to get the full weight of this for me is to go back to previous experience. So after around 2006, my family had a church. My mother-in-law had a church. My ex-husband was pastor, and I was co-pastor. She was overseer, and it was a family church. After the church fell apart, God led me. My daughter went to another church where she had been going. I didn't know. I was still caught up in the devastation of my now ex-husband leaving. But although I wasn't attending any church, I was immersed in spirit. Like I said, I was studying, I was fasting, I was doing everything that everything that was given to me to do to develop as now I see. I was just trying to survive then. But I knew that I had a calling. And so I focused on that, and it was more or less in survival mode. But I did embrace it. So I followed. My daughter invited me to this church with her. And God gave me a word for the pastor during the service, whom I'd never met. So anyway, that moved me into being a prophet in the church, because I was receiving messages continually. And that pastor, there'll be another episode, but I'll just kind of cliff note it right now. When I walked up to him and told him, it was during service, that I had a word, he said, I knew you were coming. He said, God showed me that 2 prophetess were coming. And the older one was old, one was old, one was young. He said, and the older one has already come through. Interesting thing about that is that this woman also made her way to our family church, though we didn't know who she was. This was all a divine setup. He said, she's already come through. And I've been waiting for you. So that abruptly put me in prophetess position. And I was giving messages continually for years. So that is how I began speaking in the church as prophetess. And I'll just leave that there because it goes on. But God pulled me from that church. And anyway, so that's another video that will come quickly now that I have spoken about it. So anyway, back to this morning. I knew by the transference, the things that were happening here, that I had a word. And I wrote it down. So when I said that this is new, but it's not, it's because I have not received a word to share. Well, I can't really say that, because my little shorts or my little reels on Instagram, the few weeks that I have been receiving, those were kind of downloads from Spirit. But this is an actual message that I am about to read. I think I'm going to read it. So this is my journal. I love this. This is by, this journal is Thomas and Coco. And I love it. God, goals, growing and glowing. And it's just empty pages, right? It's just, but, so this is my communion journal. And today is my 1,913th day of communion. Now, side note on that is that when God spoke to me in 2006 and told me to begin writing, he wrote the days. It was 2006. I have lost, I almost want to cry, because I was homeless and moving from place to place. I lost so many of my communion journals. I tell you, whenever it was time to pack up and leave, I'd have a small bag or a duffel bag with my clothes in it, and one of those suitcases that you can pull with my journals. and the books that I was able to buy with me wherever I went. I have very little clothing because during that time, what was most important to me was the word that I had received from God. And I would rather have the suitcase full of my journals than a wardrobe. That's how important and how much I value my communication with the spirit realm. Just like when I got a hold of the Holy Bible and that was my bread. It's my bread, it's my life. And as it is with my daily communion, it's my everything. So I have been able to keep a hold of my journals for the last about 3-4 years. 3 years. I've been able to keep a hold of them. So this morning's 1913th day of communion. That in and of itself just sits in my heart heavily. So anyway, but what I received, it was about, and I think I'll just read it. Read it as it was given to me. And this is the deity Orisha Arunla or Orunmila, in response to me saying that I wanted a deeper relationship and more communication with the spirit realm. And he said, "You see, my sister, what it is that you must understand and embrace with the depth of your soul, within the depth of your soul, is that you are the spirit realm you so desperately seek to connect with. You ask for a deeper connection and vaster experience, which is a rather mute request. It is much like asking someone to help you know yourself. This is much different than seeing a therapist or counselor who would help with understanding behaviors and guidance through traumas and mental and emotional instabilities. These incidences are a direct result of what happens when one does not have a sense of their true self and or has developed a false sense of themselves through childhood trauma. Whatever the case may be, the bottom line is there has been a disconnection with the true authentic self, which is the essence of all that is, the totality of the divine, universal consciousness, or God, whichever terminology you choose, focused into the human form that is given your name. So what he's saying is that by the communication or the connection with the spirit realm, the deeper connection with the spirit realm, that I have been searching for is not something out here, right? What I am actually searching for is a deeper connection with my true self, with my true, authentic self. Because I, as Asha Salika, as are you, we are merely this human form that has my name and has your name. It's just the vessel. It's just the human form of all that is. All of God. All of universal consciousness. All of spirit. All of the divine. The entire spiritual realm. The entire universe is all in here. And the only, in reference to the counselor and the therapist, for myself, the abuse, well, for everyone, I can't. We are born into this world. We are birthed into this realm, wholly intact with our true selves. But it is the way we are brought up, the traumas, the abuses, the everything, the conditioning that we are brought into by the world system, by the rules, the regulations, the education, the health system, all these systems that we are born, disconnects us from who we truly are. And then we spend a lifetime not knowing that what we are trying to do is reconnect with our true self. And he continues, said, seeking a grander connection with spirit is merely cultivating a truer relationship with yourself. It is nothing outside of you. And as you have learned and do now share, it is through your life experiences that you learn of who you truly are. Authenticity the hard way. There are no steps to this. And that's what I was saying before. Like there's no steps to getting to know yourself. Go back to this. There are what you now term practices such as meditation, mindfulness, yogic practices, which are now things that must be taught, but actually are second nature to your ancestors. These things were a part of living. So what I received when he gave me that was that wait a minute. Turn the page. Okay. Let me just finish reading this. Okay. Those things were meditation, awareness, all the things that we now call practices long ago was life, was the way our ancestors lived. Colonization destroyed this. Colonization, our various culture, our various heritage, lineages being pulled and snatched from their origin, and us being colonized by the powers that were and that are, is what separated us from those quote unquote now practices that were instilled in us when we were born. It was who we were. Just this, I think what's coming to me is a continuation of this, but I'm just going to say it. Each culture, each group of people we have all, some more of a greater degree than others, snatched from their home, displaced from their homeland, being denied the trueness of their heritage and given a different one, forced to integrate into a different culture. It's like when you put sugar into water, the sugar dissolves and becomes a part of the water. A culture taken, snatched from their homeland. You know where I'm going with this. And losing their true identity. That's why there is the search for, I want a deeper connection. Or, let me read this. But now, the bloodshed of the ancestors, far and wide, is calling humanity back to its roots and truths. That is a powerful statement. That, in my opinion, is what is now happening with the influx, what humanity is now going through as our consciousness opens up. Our spirits are opening up. We are expanding as human beings. And that expansion is calling us back to our truth, to our true divinity, the divinity that lies within each one of us, regardless of your skin color. It's divine. It's who you are. That's what's happening. We are expanding to regain our truth. A lot of people are being drawn outward. Like I said, when I stepped outside of Christianity, a lot of people are being drawn to their roots. Like, where did I come from? That's why, that's good. That's why we have Ancestry.com. That's why we have all these DNA tests, because people are trying to get to the root of who they are. Because without knowing our roots, we don't know who we are. Our roots link us. Like the tree of life. I just say, wow, that just popped in my head. The tree of life, right? And I've seen so many pictures where you have the tree of life here, but with all the roots, all the roots going far and wide. but coming together to make this one tree. That's where we're going. That's what's happening. And so he finished by saying, sister, please hear me. Friends, please hear me. Stop asking for connection and receive within. That's another way of saying seek your authenticity. And it's not something that you can do from the outside. Except to say that you can study, knowledge is power. But that thing that's inside of you that's making you feel uncomfortable in certain places, and like, what is going on inside of me? What is going on inside of you is in direct response to what is happening with the world at large, with Earth. This is astrological, whatever, earthy stuff, but the Earth is expanding. Planet Earth is going through transformation. We as human beings, as the species, human beings, going through a grand transformation. And you, as yourself, is going through a transformation. And it has nothing to do with going out there in the world. All with going within. It's time. It's time for you, my friend, to get to know yourself on a deeper level. To thine own self be true. And I'm with you. I really am. I am evolving as well. And so is authenticity the hard way. It's all about experience. That was how this was given to me to do. But in the expansion of this, what I am feeling is that I will begin to start receiving again messages from far and wide to help us along this journey to authenticity. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for receiving. This is our journey. I'm so glad that we're doing this together. Do one thing for yourself today that you have been wanting to do for a long time. For me, it was getting some jewelry that I always wanted, but never was able to do, never able to purchase. Do something for yourself today, every day. Get to know you. You're worth knowing.